quite a nice thing to do, the 4-day option.
Are they going over?
We've got a photo of all there. No, it's going down and it's going through.
Salted Vale.
Oh, I know.
And Higham. Around that back road in Higham. Over to Warwick.
No.
Goes over Salterville, yeah.
Yeah.
The end, yeah. Back into Kate.
I bet that's the.
Two things. First of all, I've been walking for about 25 years, and by sheer good fortune, I think this is the best walk I've ever been on. And I did Hadrian's Wall last year, for example. For them and other people, the fact that this is the nearest we can get to an authentic reproduction of the route that the witches followed. They may not have gone up the road that we're following, but the road that they would have followed, if it's not this one, will be the Trough Road. And the route we're following is probably in the condition that the Trough Road would have been in those days, for example. Nobody knows how they got there, because the constable did it on a fixed price contract. And all he had to do was get them there and charge for his fixed price. So we don't know how they got there. So we just reproduce it as best we can. And also, we've reproduced it as best we can to minimise the ecological impact. That's why we're not going up the Trough Way, because of the hen harriers, and then you're into the shooting areas, the grouse shooting areas and the pheasant shooting areas around Abbeystead. We've been really, Ty has led us very carefully on this, and this is why it's such a sustainable route. It, as far as we can see, ticks all the right boxes. It's a very satisfying route. One of the reasons we think it's going to be attractive is that whilst it's a long distance, there's no what I call lungbuster hills. There's one or two short ones that are quite, you're out of breath when you get to them, and there's some long hills. You're going through at least over 3 fells. You're going over Eatington Fell, and then the last one is Caton Fell. So you've got 3 fells, so it's genuine fell walking. Now, I used to walk a lot with the Croydon Walkers, and they walked in suburbia. This would be a lovely culture shock for them. It's genuine, some of it is genuine wild walking, some of it is dead easy. The bit round the Loon River Ramble is an old railway line, so it's flat, it's tarmacked, it's pleasant enough, but it's not. But most of the walk, just in the last bit when you come into Lancaster, you just get into the area where they were hung, and right on the left is a big load of looming old dark buildings. Lancaster Moor Hospital, which was built in 1816 as a local asylum.
We needed a definite,
and it sort of sets the tone just when you get into the hanging area, because it's quite depressing, that bit.
Accessible by public transport.
Do you see what I mean? And that was fortunate. I didn't know it was there. That's the sort of luck we've had, and it has been lucky all the way that way.
And that's how we came up.
That's why I care about it so passionately.
The Barrowford Heritage Centre, Pendle Heritage Centre, Barrowford. So that then defined the starting point, and then we looked on the map to see which was the various ways we could then visit those various locations where the witches had been, with the magistrates and so on. And the other question then was, how could we then define, or how could we then get from this area across to Lancaster, and where do we go through? The problem being that there were, when we looked at Pendle Hill and the Trough of Bowland, there was no good public rights of way that connected this area with Lancaster. And Sue's suggestion was that we actually use the Salters Way over the moor. And so that then sort of took us away from Pendle Hill and took us to that area. And so we then looked at the paths that actually connected up. We walked out some of the paths and decided that some of them weren't really suitable for making into a long-distance trail. We went through Sladeburn because that's got a youth hostel there and other accommodation as well. So that then determined how we sort of planned the route, and we walked out, spent several days walking out various bits of the route. Ian had liaised with Witches, the manageable rights-of-way people from Lancaster and the various 4 days, or even 2 days. For some serious walkers, they could actually do it in 2 days. And the availability of stopping places such as Sladeburn, where you could sort of overnight accommodation or whatever. That it isn't over long, that you could manage that in various sections as well. You know, come and do it a couple of weekends or something. Also, the history and the fact that we've got this tremendous 400th anniversary of the ladies and their sad demise. And I think that sort of the magic, or not the magic, the ambience around them would attract people to say, right, let's have a go at this, and we can do this.
Obviously, by my accent, I'm not from here. And I've been here over 16 years, and all of the time I've lived here, I've heard about the Lancashire Witches, but I never knew about their story. So I thought it was a prime opportunity to creatively explore the story, explore what it meant in the history of this particular area that I call my home. I'm an assemblage artist, but I also work with community, and so it was also another prime opportunity to take my practice and explore it with the community. So with the children, we've been exploring the area because it's historically important with the story, and also their place within that story is bringing the history into a contemporary context. So we've looked at it historically, we've taken historical information and now are doing collage. We've been doing collage on tiles, so they each have their own particular piece of artwork they can call their own. And in the center, they've incorporated something that represents themselves and what they collect, because we discussed what witches collect, like herbs and teeth and hair and all that stuff. So they had they've had their own little small piece of artwork, and it was in preparation to be able to learning about those materials, taking a model castle, it's approximately 32 inches square, and covering the sides of the castles in this historic material we've used pages from the Lancashire Witches story by Ainsworth, and taken those pages, collaging it onto the actual castle to represent literature and literacy and illiteracy, as well as then also other historical information, such as images of James I, who was king at that time, Shakespeare, because he was also produced Macbeth at that time, which had witches in it. So we've had discussions all about that sort of thing. The castle is a very interesting symbol because you have the barriers. Metaphorically, it can be barriers, what's inside, what's kept inside, what's kept outside, etc. And so we've all had discussion on that. So we've done that. We've done some drawing. I had the kids come in and bring their own collections, things that they collect, and we had a sharing day. And that was really interesting. and so we got to know